Hello again. Welcome back to our verse-by-verse study on the book of 1 Peter. I'm glad you're here. The Apostle Peter wrote this book, we don't know the exact date, probably in the 60s AD, after most of the Pauline writings. He's writing to northern Asia Minor, what is now Turkey, into some rural districts that had a heavy Jewish population by the writing of the book. The populations there, some of them may have been quite rough. We know that the Galatians had come originally from France in the 200 BCs as barbarians from the Celtic tribes and had migrated through Illyria, which is north of Greece, down into Asia Minor. And the book alludes to the fact that they may have been having, them and perhaps other provinces, trouble with their behavior towards the authorities, which Peter at least 3 times admonishes them to behave and not suffer for doing bad, but suffer, if you're going to suffer for doing good. The recipients of the letter appear to be quite young in their faith. So we're at the last of chapter 2, last verse, verse 25. We've been going through a marvelous passage on salvation, describing Christ's sacrifice on the cross for our sins. And he took it quietly in fulfilling Old Testament prophecy and without revenge, a sufficient sacrifice that we could be dead to sin and live, have the power through the resurrection. That would be integrate with Romans 6, through the resurrection, to live righteous and proper life, serving God, and proper life, before our society. Sorry. In verse 25, then, he finishes this passage saying, like all sheep, we've gone astray. Otherwise, these are allusions to Old Testament verses like Psalm 23, Ezekiel 34, also in John 10, that Christ, as it says at the end of the passage, is our chief shepherd who guides us, leads us, and we follow him. Actually now imitate him in the New Testament epistles, and he watches and tends over us. This is not only in our Christian walk, but also in context here to our salvation. The word here for bishop is that of episcopes, where we get the word episcopal, otherwise one who audits, comes and checks up on you in an official manner. And Christ did that for us as judge, judging us by his death on the cross and taking our sins, as it says in this passage, starting in verse 21, that thus we could be righteous before him. So, yes, as sheep we went astray in verse 25, but as our chief shepherd, we have returned to him through his blood, or his death on the cross, and the spilling of his blood, and the forgiveness of our sins. Beautiful allusion. We know as a shepherd in the Bible, and from, as we in Luke 15, the parables there, that even one lost sheep God goes after. And in John 10, no one that's placed in God's hand or Christ's hand will he lose. So as our shepherd, he keeps us rounded up. He's brought us salvation. He's kept us safe and will keep us safe in the future. Okay, thanks for joining me today. Next time we'll go back into the Christian life, talking about some verses on marriage, and then get into more aspects, diverse aspects of the Christian walk in chapter 3. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you'll come back next time.